because war will be between these two teams. But the operator bans are first on the board. Which 4 operators will be removed? And we're starting it off with a funky Thatcher ban. It's basically...
Big surprise there.
Big surprise, honestly. 90% of the time I think he still gets removed out of most of the games.
So that's not going to change up much here at all. Maverick going to be removed next by DarkZero. Maverick having quite a bit of a capability to make quick work of the hard breaches, specifically around these square areas as well as tellers, and the hatch is also getting into the basement, so he tends to be a fairly common choice to be removed on this map. Wamai as well, there's still quite a bit of utility mitigation emphasis inside of the meta right now, so removing one of those 3 key operators is still something we see fairly often as well.
Yeah, for those of you wondering who are those 3 operators, it's of course Jaeger, Aruni, and Wamai. Aruni with the Syria laser gate has the opportunity to catch these projectiles as well, and you can reset them every 30 seconds. And Valkyrie being removed, that is not really a surprise to me. On bank, especially outside chems are also quite strong. You gotta think of the top floor hold, where jump outs out of those windows are quite a common occurrence, especially if pressure is put upon them from that area. Now, we're getting underway, round number 1, and it will be Vitality starting off on the defense. And Castle and Aruni, that is always a combination I would like to see, and then the Mute and the Mozzie as well, so you're starting to see what they're trying to build here already.
They go for an interesting first sight here as well, as they'll be heading to open area for this one. Very, very brutal defense to pull off. Oftentimes is also played vertically by the defense also, but there's quite a few ways to approach it, so wait and see how exactly Vitality are going to do so. DarkZero will 6-pick Canadian away and over towards the Ashe, interestingly enough. We've been seeing a little bit less Ashe as of late here, just kind of fallen out of grace for some teams, but clearly not for Canadian today. He's going to go right onto that at the start of the game.
It could be working out quite well, actually. If you see that the castle is on the board currently, you know, sometimes you do not really want to get close with the sledgehammer to open these up because it could pose a bit of a danger. Now, this is default Vitality, actually. Closing off that door, creating some holes to try and contest these small offers if players would be to come down from that area. And we are going to see that extension into the tellers and the archives. So there will be plenty of rotation opportunity for them back and into the site.
Usual rotation is going to be opened up. I believe the possibility to leave the other upstairs hatches open as well is probably going to come into play here for Vitality if they want to extend their play out from the inside of the site at all. In fact, we do see that right there. We're going to be actually reinforcing those hatches quite a bit, so we won't see as much active holding going on here, since those players will obviously not have the safe retreat route that would be left if the hatches were left open. So here we go, though. DarkZero spawned out and on the board. It's going to be a slow process for them to get into this one as they take a few moments to figure out what exactly Vitality is built towards here with their drones.
Now, what you did see in the kitchen entrance is that the Aruni laser gate is placed right behind the castle barricade. So it's not towards the outside, but towards the inside. Some of you might be wondering, why would you do that? Because then you do not stop an S-charge, for example, to go through. But they expect that door to open up anyway. This way you have the opportunity to reactivate it. So let's say DarkZero is quick with it. They open it up in the first 30 seconds. They waste the Syria laser gate. They can reactivate it when the actual push starts happening.
Danny going to take some heat very early on here. Hyper also trying to put pressure onto things from just outside of Square and Jay, but is not going to be able to pull that off. Rise will challenge it successfully and maintain control over here of the top main stair, continuing to keep that presence alive, but more than likely going to have to bail out here sooner rather than later, as you can see the alternate pressure also coming onto him from the window repel over towards Projector.
Is something that Rise is well known for, though. He likes playing these pressure positions. For example, on Consulate, he always played on the yellow stairs as Bibu is now forced to drop down. It's a grenade that flew in from the top. A second one will be used as well, but as he dropped down, he is outside of the danger area. Rise also dropping just a couple of flights there on those stairs. His Hyper, the first one to fall, as Bibu was still active right around the elevator.
Excellent tidbits of aggression coming out here right now from Vitality, really slowing down the push from DarkZero. Great angle from Cactus as well. Canadian has been absolutely chunked as a result of this, but he's going to return the favor slightly onto Cactus. There's the problem, though. Canadian has other players slowly sneaking up onto him, so he could end up dead regardless over these next few moments, and Vitality still has a lot of things roaming around the map that are yet to be dealt with here by the members of DZ. One of them being got on the inside of Archives as he slays Canadian, finally finishing him off and bringing DarkZero down to a measly 3 players remaining here in the last minute.
50 seconds left, and it's a 3-5 situation with P4 still on that roam. He is a big danger factor here, as Bandazu is going to be able to get a kill after he just got tanked down quite a bit, and he manages to take control of the tellers and the archives itself. P4 is being pushed out, takes a lot of damage, but manages to survive for now, and that is going to be crucial.
A little bit of issue there for NJR, is still going to use that land hammer, but regardless, Works his way into Jay, opens up the top-down angle. Eclipse as well. We're going to open up a path into the site here. It will work. It will not be interfered with, despite those mute jammers on the ground. They unfortunately will be a little bit out of place, so the breaching charge will work its way through here. As Eclipse pushes his way into the site, DarkZero going to try to force the issue. It's an all-in execute, and their planter does get into position, but where's the support? Is there enough of it sitting on top of it? They've really got just this one plant attempt, but it's working. They get it onto the ground. Here comes P4, though, with a big flank from bottom square. Takes out 2. Bibu finishes it off, and it's an incredibly quick retake from Vitality to claim the initial round.
I told you, P4 being alive at the moment he got pushed with the flashbang, that was going to be crucial because he's always allowed to creep back on at the very right moment and just strikes at the moment his teammates on the site fell, took down both of them, the planter and the cover, and at that moment the last man was in a DBNO state, so all they needed to do is clean up. So the first round goes to Vitality here. Tellers and Office, well, that will be the next one. They stay on that first floor. And DarkZero are going to be facing a pretty similar hold, just a different bomb site this time.
Yeah, DarkZero, they're really struggling to gain the initial position needed to go for that swing execute they did in the final seconds of the round. Unfortunately, they were left with that as their really only choice in the dying seconds of the round because it was such a pressure point. And this has been the issue for DarkZero, is getting held up in those mid-round attacks where they kind of lose themselves. They lose the capability to lock down the roam game that's happening on the defense, and far too much time has bled off the clock as a result of that inability to catch it. So hopefully, it's not going to be a consistent thing from DarkZero, possibly just unfamiliarity up against Vitality as they learn their playstyle.
Now, what also was important to mention was the fact that the Exothermic managed to breach through the wall, and that is of course due to the rework we have seen with the new jammers. They are now a cone, or more of a sphere instead of the cone that it was before, which means that it doesn't quite get everything anymore. That was allowing them to open that one up. Now, a lot of pressure here from Vitality onto the actual Tellers area. 3 of these welcome mats have been placed there, and they're hoping to catch off some of the DarkZero players if they would be to enter from that side. Now, you're going to hope that they will be pushing up with, for example, the drones, just to make sure that they are well aware, and as Cactus does take quite some damage at the very start. I'm wondering where he tried to go for... Ooh, it wasn't even a spawn peek, it was just preparing some ankle holes.
So, unfortunately, going to get caught there early on as a player who's trying to push into the break room window. He's put some pressure onto it, as well as the soft walls that sit next to it. They've got drone intel onto where that player has gone as well, so Cactus is going to have a tough time here over this first minute or so. DarkZero seem hard locked on trying to figure out this player's position and knock him out due to the damage that was done. Cactus has found a safe corner to hide in, but once again, drones are going to make it not so safe here in a second as 2 of them spot him out. NJR continues to push in through electrical, and Canadian has also pierced the veil down in the basement and will soon be working his way up the blue stairs here. Cactus, though, still maintaining a good position. He's got additional support, like P4, helping out here on the stairwell as well, as he denies the first entry from DZ. Panba goes down. However, NJR is able to immediately translate that on his own by finishing off Cactus with a push in the break room.
I was going to say, just pushed into the break room there, and P4 actually just barely missed him as he ran across. Now, Rice, however, in a position he could try and provide some extra cover on top of the square, just waiting for some of these DarkZero members to start moving in, because NJR, well, he does have part of, well, close to the site, so to say, so you could expect that it will be a next point of interest for DarkZero to try and make the push happen from. Either way, it's P4 still holding off inside of the archives. It's NJR that starts to open up, knows a bit of pressure is coming down because, well, there is still members of Vitality all around, and he's checking angle after angle, but he's not able to find anybody as of just yet.
Once again here, DarkZero getting slowed down, but at minimum at least keeping even numbers this time, so that last second execute, if they're forced to go for it again, might fan out a little bit better as they'll have more even coverage over their attack. Obviously a different site though, much more claustrophobic site as well, so either P4 or Shinka could go huge inside of this situation. We've got DZ though, focusing their push at the moment on moving in through the small office into the site from there. Hyper's going to work on droning this out with the Gemini as he, more than anything, is checking for control over the main stairs. DarkZero has not felt the confidence to move out from open area just yet. Looks like there's still players upstairs causing problems as well. Bibu opening up the top-down angle. DZ seemingly not aware of that position. Good news is, again, DarkZero's quick on the trade. P4 inside of the site does falter, but here comes the rest from upstairs as Rise tears both of the pushers apart. Only one remains, and he's not going to stay alive for very long. Bibu finishes it off again as Vitality claims a second.
Now, where actually the player was located down an open area when the Nitro came through, Bibu actually put a Mozzie drone right under him, so he was drowning. That's why he's like, he's just like, look at that. And that's why he used the Nitro. He saw the Gemini was active at that point. That means he is currently trying to get some information himself. He's currently not aware of his own position, and that is how he managed to pick that one up. And it's just a great flank from Rise as well, and that's due to the fact that DarkZero didn't really clear out that top floor. This time they didn't try and contest it at all, and that just allows him to play freely. You might catch B4 that is currently playing on the side in that case, but then you still have two other members that are playing on the top floor that will wreak havoc upon you if you don't try and clear them out. So, a very strong start here for Vitality, a 2-0. And we are going to the top floor now. The basement completely being avoided for now. Might always see it as a quaternary site. Possibly.
It's been a bit of a rough one, I've noticed, at least in North America. For teams.
It definitely is.
Very mixed results on the new version of that site. So I think teams, well, initially, of course, they hopped right back on it because that was like the go-to choice on the old version of this map.
Yeah.
Not so much the case, I think, as the meta's changed quite a bit. Who's able to take the victory there, and attackers seem to be shifting towards the advantageous position. So I think we're seeing teams experiment with quite a few other sites. Vitality has continued to do well, though, on playing both of the first floor sites, and now shifting upstairs here onto the inside of our second floor site. Trying to claim the full-on rotation, 3 rounds in a row. See if they can get this job done, as things have been going very, very well for them so far. This hold is going to be a bit more focused on the site itself, and more importantly on the floor the site is located, however. Not as much extended play to come out here, so hopefully a little bit less for DarkZero to worry about in the overall scope of the round.
Now, I think that DarkZero was certain of the fact that they would be going to the bottom floor, because if you just look at it, Canadian has 2 Heart Breach charges, Eclipse on the Thermite, and we have Panda Zoo on, of course, the Hibana with the Excaros. Expected that they had to deal with some of these hatches here, and that is not going to be the case, because they need to go to that top floor, and just that yokai is going to be giving away so much information, but it does get spotted, however, so Canadian does take it out. It's a crucial piece of information, but they're well aware of where he tries to enter from.
Good spot by Canadian there. The Yokais again, for those who haven't been following Siege over recent months, and I guess it's been over almost a year at this point that change was made. The Yokais unfortunately lost their invisibility some time ago, so putting them in a spot where the color difference is going to be obvious. Obviously makes it easier there for Canadian to spot that one out. And JR hunting as well as he can here as well on the rappel, and he's not going to be alone. He'll also be assisted here by Panba in trying to isolate out and find those first few kills. You can see the frags are there and available for NJR. Everyone is also on drones, I believe, right now, except for NJR, trying to locate someone to chuck these frags at, or even better, line up an angle against if it's possible.
Let's say he wants to get these frag grenades in. The Cactus is well aware that he needs to take care of these windows, so he's just passively holding them every now and then, you know, he's just taking the gunfights, but also knowing that he's not going to be re-picking them, because that is how you will be falling to your demise. Either way, Vitality just holding strong for now on. 3 people on the side of the wall down there, as in the meantime Excaros are starting to blow up as well. The question is B4 going to be able to win his gunfight onto the window, because that provides the opportunity of jumping out and getting potentially 2 more.
Very, very patient play here so far from Vitality, and no reason why they shouldn't play it as well. There is virtually 0 pressure up until this point coming in from the square side, so when pressure finally does start to work its way in from DarkZero, Vitality's more than ready to handle it, but DZ turns that back around as Hyper breaches through square with the first kill of his. Another teammate was able to pick one up, but that's been exchanged now. As Hyper goes down, we're back on even numbers into a 3v3, but DZ very close to the site, still has to pick up the diffuser, which has gone down outside on the rappel. Eclipse with a good find, though, is able to take down Rise, and with NJR finding another one, it's all going to be left to Bibu to clutch out the 1v3. A great start for him, though, as he takes down NJR. And keep in mind, DarkZero still have to go back down that rappel to pick up the case. They've just now done that, but only 30 seconds left to get it into the site.
He only just managed to pick it up. Eclipse is going to be opening up a part of a breach that gives him the opportunity to try and figure out where it's coming from. They have no clue where he is yet, however.
Did you just see him?
I don't think he did, actually, because it was a bit of a shoulder peek. There was some explosions going on in the meantime. His flashbangs to fall in, and it's not in time, not in the right place. He waits! It's the... Oh, no, wait, people!
Bibu with an absolutely insane clutch.
Discipline.
The patience, the trigger discipline, the full control coming out from Bibu to clutch the 2v1 after DarkZero seemingly had a handle on the situation there. A slow start for them on the rappels as well. Finally putting the pressure in from square and up the spiral staircase. But it's not enough as Bibu goes unnoticed and absolutely thrashes the remaining 2 players on DarkZero from the corner position.
The timing was so perfect though, because at the moment that Pan went down to try and pick up the diffuser, that was when he snuck past the windows and went to set themselves up close to it. He gets back up, or will be played. And will DarkZero be ready for this? Or do they expect that we're going back to open area? That is the big question. Have they just discussed how to take open area? Like, is that what they just did in the past 45 seconds? Because in that case, they need to throw it all out of the window again and prepare for the next site, which will be in the basement. Hatches will be reinforced. We will see Vitality again, probably playing 2 floors above and then fall down and move from top to bottom as the time moves on. DarkZero, well, they will have to decide. Either strike directly and not care about the roamers at all and be quick, or try and clear them out effectively and force them to jump into your crossfires.
It's going to be tough for them to try and plead ignorance and go directly for the site after what happened back in round 2, falling victim to that very same issue. As ultimately that nitro cell that was popped open by the defense allowed them to be cleared out, and then a flank, again, due to a player that was left undealt with on the second floor, sealed the deal on the outset of that round. So DarkZero would be taking a massive risk if they try to play into that type of strategy yet again. It's going to be a top-down clear, it looks like, for them, as they're sending about 2 out of 5 of their players over there. Oh, no! Rise leaps out the second-story window!
Will he get it? Will he get it?
Shreds NJR, but is not going to notice Panba standing watch by the front door, so it's quickly exchanged down to a 4v4.
Ran around the corner. Bibu, however, goes for an aggressive peek as well. Gets Canadian and hyper falls as well to P4. It's not really going well for DarkZero this round so far. And they might just use this as a bit of an extra buffer to talk about the next round, because it's just the 2 Heart Breachers left. There is still, of course, the opportunity. You can never count them out. Pamba trying to clear out that first floor now, but there's going to be players above, below, and on the same floor as him at this very moment, because look at Bibu. He has the opportunity to spot you if he rotates through that door there. It's a very tight angle that's being watched, and if he takes the gunfight but doesn't quite manage to secure it in the very first try, he can just drop through the hatch. That's B4 just sitting standby there, also dealing some damage. Bibu taking some as he gets the kill whilst dropping.
Vitality, absolutely no negatives to keeping these aggressive extended positions out across the map here, just due to how massive of a player advantage they have in this situation here. Eclipse obviously left alone in a 1v4. Very little map control to even work off of here. Credit to him, he is slowly creeping downstairs, and it's a nice kill there. Can't get the second one on the follow-up, though. Bibu quickly trades out the death of his teammate and seals the deal on this round, as Vitality continue to dominate against DarkZero, leading 4-0 now.
Yeah, now finally we're going back to one of the sides that DarkZero has seen before, so let's see if the adaptations are ready at this very moment. They were just not ready or expecting the aggressive jump outs that we were seeing. As you see right now in the replay, Rise just going for the first one. Tried to go back quickly through the front doors, but Pambo was watching there. While Eclipse, he tried to make the best out of it. There was only 2 on the actual site though, so who knows. Maybe he would have been able to get in and catch them as they rotated out, but there was, of course, the crossfire ready. And now the Finka is being brought out. An operator we haven't seen yet today.
Certainly not, but it's one we have started to see a lot more of, specifically over the past couple of months. For a while, Finka was not a factor, just pretty much never picked.
Exactly.
Very niche scenarios, but that started to change in recent months as teams are finding more and more use for her in execute situations here, as well as her quick capability to get some extra healing if absolutely necessary. So for DarkZero, we'll see if it's going to be the thing that makes up the difference. I think there's unfortunately a lot more issues aside from just operator picks that need to be looked at here for DZ right now. But again, they didn't have that pause, they didn't have that capability to identify things, as you were mentioning. Possibility they got thrown off with that last map site pick. Credit to Vitality, really impressive feat. They're going all 4 sites. That's the entire breadth of the defensive sites available on this map, and they have no problem winning every single one of them. So now they've gone back to where they started things out here in open area.
Yeah, that's it. I think, like, you know, DarkZero at that moment, you know, the round beforehand they expected a bottom floor because of the amount of hard breach they took. The round afterwards they expected them to go back where they have already won, I would assume. Of course, we will never know until we ask them. But Vitality, if that was the case, played well into that. We're now back into a side that has been shown before. This is the opportunity for DarkZero to show their skills and adaptability to make sure that they're picking up at least a round or 2 to end the half with. Because if this would be a 6-0 or a 5-1, it's going to be a very tough second half for them.
Absolutely the case here. And DarkZero overall will be a very rough start to the tournament. This goes all the way into Vitality's favor. The kind of drastic nature that's currently being played. Rise, perfect timing on the swing there. Catches Hyper in the middle of a movement and just shuts him down with a perfect headshot. Beautifully played aggression coming out from the Vitality side of things once again. And it's going to get even worse as P4 hiding in the corner. NJR gets baited into a duel against Rise hiding out by Jay. And is ultimately able to surprise him, taking him down. Canadian finally picking up an exchange though for the DZ side of things as Bibu is caught and goes down. Canadian follows that up with a second one as well. Rise also being dealt with on the upstairs roam, so finally DarkZero getting some control over this situation.
They are getting some control indeed, but they lost quite of a big part of the utility. They lost their soft breach potential, of course, and NJR, that would be quite helpful. If you want to take care of Shinka and Cactus on the actual site, you need to do that with just pure gunfights now as P4. Well, he's right above Panda, actually. The question is, does he know, or is he just trying to waste some extra time here?
There's a Mozzie drone sitting on the other side, so he absolutely knows.
They do know, indeed. The flashbangs are coming out. No, you jump over at the very wrong moment. It's the second one, actually, to take the fight. Bamba will be taken care of. Two members of Vitality take it to him, and they managed to shut him down. And now it's only up to Eclipse and Canadian, though. No more adrenaline surges left, so just two of these exothermics to try and work with.
Coordinated aggression is truly something to behold right now from Vitality, especially in the extended game here. DarkZero getting surprised time and time again. And the only one that's been able to control this round has been Canadian. Everybody else has fallen victim to it so far. A minute remains, and while this round's not impossible for DarkZero, being slowed down to the degree they have been is once again going to force them to use every single facet of this remaining timer before they feel even a slight amount of confidence to try and go for the play inside of the site here. Canadian only just now entering the building as he creeps forward and still has a possible player to deal with over by Tellers.
Shinka is aware, sees the head there, but his head gets spotted as well. Canadian picks that one up, brings it back to a 2-2. It's still possible. 24 seconds as grenades get tossed over. It's Eclipse trying to go for the entry here into the open area. Makes his position known. Of course, there is the bulletproof cam spotting him out as well. They know he's going to be coming through that door soon. 10 seconds left as the sound now gets denied as well. P4 in the corner. Cactus is in the corner. They need to go for a plant very soon, and it's exactly what Eclipse is doing. 5 seconds left. Cactus is full flashed. He tries to go for it. Goes for some pre-fires. Gets the cover. However, they now need to get Eclipse. He stands up, gets the first, but P4 closes it out, and it's going to be able to win that round for Vitality. It's 5 in a row.
Very, very close round that time as DarkZero nearly are able to finally pick one up for themselves. But once again, the coordinated aggression and then cooling it off towards the end of the round to play out the timer there and only contest when absolutely necessary works out well there, even though it comes down to a 1v1. For DarkZero as well, without Canadian, they don't even come close to getting to that point in the round there, so props to him for making it as far as they did into that one. Unfortunately, the rest of the team still falling victim to that aggression and cost them a lot of time and players throughout the course of it.
I like how we've only mentioned it a couple of times, but Bibu was the only remaining member, of course, from the Paris Major. He was just warming up his hands with a Paris Major towel.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah,
I didn't even notice that.
He's just bringing it. He's just letting everybody know that he's the one remaining member. He held onto it. But yeah, indeed a very close round. And Cactus, I think he did the right thing here. He realized he's not going to be able to wallbang him, so he decided to go for the cover instead, because that certainly turns it into a 1v2, and he needs to stand up if he wants to take the fight, and that suddenly exposes you to two different angles.
Yeah, full 90-degree turn that the other player would have had to make there on DZ in order to clutch that one out, so just a little bit of a bait to set things up there at the end of the round. I think that was also the appropriate way to play that, given the circumstances, instead of trying to take those on individual 1v1s. Things continue to look good for Vitality, so they continue to spin around the wheel here of sights as they go right back to Tellers for their final defense, looking for a perfect 6-0 half to start the major off with.
That's it. They have the opportunity to go for a flawless half right here. And after that, you know, it could be a 7-0 as well. You never know. Of course, it's a bit early still. Still need to close out this half first. But the thing is, Vitality, they had the opportunity of two sides here. Again, they could have gone up to the bottom floor, but could have also gone to the top floor. Now, they decided to go for that bottom floor. Of course, the top floor was built a lot onto these jump outs we have seen before. That is not something you just replicate, because DarkZero will be ready for it now. They will be expecting you to be jumping out in these situations. And while P4, he is still up in a position where he could just jump out with just a single punch of a window, because Aruni, the mechanical arm, just opens up these barricades in one go.
DarkZero also coming much, much closer to a successful actual take on the upstairs site as well, so Vitality definitely favoring their other first floor hold as the easier one to try and negotiate a 6th round for themselves. We are going to see the X-Kairos going out. One is unfortunately going to get jammed as we see there, but The second one up on top shouldn't be much of an issue. Hyper also able to enter his way into square. He's going to have to contest, though, against this Malusi, who more than likely is aware of Hyper's position due to the Banshee just going off there and getting shot by Hyper a few seconds prior.
P4 just staying alive, trying to waste as much time as he can. That is just his role here. He needs to live as Rise picks up the first. It's Hyper to fall. He tried to take the fight into his second one. He knows one is in the stock area. He's just trying to get the right angle for it. There's no way out for him. Just death. That's the only way he will be leaving this site here. Takes care of the drone. Somehow, again, dances around all the bullets flying around him.
Start calling him Race Car Rise with these peaks that we keep getting from him here, as he's absolutely destroying DarkZero with these. We might get another one in just a second. Canadian very much seemingly ready for the challenge. Pan, but just barely winning a fight versus Bibu, taking him down. But Shinka immediately translates that against Canadian as he's denied in his play against Jay. Rise still also in this fight from Jay as well. Is now looking to try and fend off the push from Panba. Misses the transition, but Panba's already low, so it's not too much trouble. NJR gets a knife kill against P4 in the meanwhile there. We missed that one, but either way, DarkZero still on the back foot here. What is now a 2v3 with 1 minute remaining.
And don't forget, NJR is literally on 1 HP here. Just a single zap from one of these Evil Eyes will be taking care of him. Question is, of course, do they know on the side of Vitality? Cactus is again on his Evil Eye. It's something that Dez doesn't like, for example. He always goes insane when he's on the Evil Eye. He's like, get off, get on your gun, you have an Alda. You know, he still managed to get quite a bunch of clutches with it, however. So, 2v3. 30 seconds. This is the opportunity for DZ to get that final round in this half. But it's looking to go Vitality's way, at least for now, as the Evil Eyes are actively being manned by Cactus.
Vitality continuing to hold here now in an incredibly passive position because there's no real reason for them to be aggressive at this point in the round here. 20 seconds left. They've got the player advantage. NJR is on a sliver of HP. Eclipse is going to try to sneak his way into the site. NJR is immediately caught as he gets even an inkling close. And yeah, this plan actually might get snuck off as we're going to see Shinka rotating up through blue, though, and more than likely will be the defining factor to finish this one off. Never mind, Cactus just immediately shuts it down as he challenges Eclipse, so it's another successful victory here for Vitality as they take a 6th round, and so far a perfect run here on Bank for their defense.
A perfect run indeed, and some of you might be wondering why every single time as they get the final kill, they just don't move anymore for like a second. That's fist bumps, everybody. Like every single round, you see with Vitality, they win, they just stop moving, and then they start moving again. So it's just a quick fist bump to congratulate everybody. It's something that, for example, we've seen implemented online as well, actually, in Europe. Not so much with Vitality, but with Rogue. It's an interesting thing because they got a sports psychologist to join them, Bernadette, and every single time they would win a round, they would punch their cams, but everybody would see it, so it's quite fun, actually. These fist bumps, apparently they're something that gives everybody more motivation. So Vitality is really making the most out of it. As soon as the round is secured, you know you have plenty of time to defuse. Quick fist bump in.
Pump up your boys.
Exactly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here we go into the second half here. DarkZero now need to repeat the very same feat that Vitality just pulled off there with 6 defensive rounds in a row. Unfortunately, this is also the weaker side, looking at the one play DarkZero have had against Astralis. They struggled quite heavily on the defense and excelled on the attack, so I am not feeling too confident. And I would honestly say a 7-0 is very much in the cards right now.
55% attacking win rate, I believe, as well for the side of Vitality, so they are definitely used to be attacking as well. And it really comes across, like, if Vitality, if they get going, there's no stopping them anymore. They can literally be one of the best teams in the world on their best day. And I think that today, you know, we've seen some of that with Bibu, for example, pulling off that 1v3 clutch we've had earlier, where he just, the perfect timing, sneaking past all the DarkZero members all the time. And well, Vitality 6-0. Are they going to be able to go for the first 7-0 in the event? That's the question.
First 7-0 in the very first game. What a way to start off the major. Definitely would be an unfortunate start for DarkZero more than anything. That's what I'm worried about, is it just kind of starts a downturn. Hopefully, again, that this is a team with enough discipline, though, to come back and look at that. Or even just forget the match even happened at that point with the way that things have gone so far. I do think there's definitely a couple of things DarkZero can look at here. They've had a few close rounds, but for the most part, it's that aggression on the defense from Vitality, specifically coming out from Rise as well. Like I said, those race car peaks we were getting from him, constantly getting the better members of DarkZero, with him only going down, I think, 1 or 2 times when he tried to make those types of peaks.
It's funny, like, he's also one of the oldest members on the whole lineup. They call him, like, one of the grandpas of the lineup. He's, like, super quick with it. He's always really good at holding his ground here. It's P4 entering from the top of square, just looking to find some. This is just typical P4. Just crouches around the map, hoping to find someone, starts opening up these windows, and uses the adrenaline surge when he feels it's necessary. You've some, like, there's two ways to use it. Some teams use it as a team asset. Some people use it as, I'm the fragger, it's my asset, I'm using it to heal myself up if I lost a gunfight.
We're getting very close to locating one of the members of DarkZero there as he opens up those top-down angles. It should be noted the Canadian currently sitting in your open area, I believe. It's also gathering quite a bit of intel about what these teams are working towards. He has since moved down to the basement once again, but still is able to gather quite a bit due to how far out that heartbeat sensor, its range, is going to extend. So he's still able to gather quite a bit about what is eventually going to start to collapse down onto the site, probably over the next 30 seconds or so as Vitality finishes up their top-down clear.
And we're opening up a lot here in the tellers and the archives, but it's not actually the site they need to go to. They need to go to the open area, but of course, the first thing you need to do is get tellers and archives secured. You do not want anybody to still be around there. I don't know if that's an angle that could be shot through. I think it's a wall that's in between. He definitely sees it now. Oh, P4. Yes. No? Do we not? I don't know. It might be a reinforcement.
He's an elevator. Yeah,
okay, I was going to say, like, I was quite confused of it because it suddenly turned, you know, darker. So it was like
silhouettes throw us off sometimes.
Yeah, definitely do.
I think he's got the angle there because the elevator is going to block him off too much, so he'll stay safe in there for now, but definitely one to come back to in a few minutes here as Vitality working on opening things up. He's going to have to take out one of those mute jammers. You see the frag grenades committed to that, but still it's going to open up the window here now for Shinka to get the breach going. Rise, in the meanwhile here, has started to push down the main stairs by successfully eliminating Panba and also trapping that other member of DarkZero inside of the elevator position that we discussed before. He hears the movement, catches the player as Eclipse goes down. Canadian will exchange as he rises back up from the basement to try and stop this take from happening, but it might be too late. Cactus already well on his way. Hyper picks up one more. The push is coming out, but NJR is thriving on this one. Yes, the plant did go down, but everyone involved in it is now dead, and P4 is suddenly stuck in a 1v2, out of position as well. He's got to rotate all the way around to try and stop the counter defuse. Gets his first tool, and he fails it, and NJR saves the day for DarkZero as they finally get their first round.
They get their first. The 7-0 is avoided. Catastrophe is not happening just yet. It's 6-1 for now. Vitality, well, they managed to get that plant out, and you saw P4 in that little office. He was waiting for a nitro cell to come over, but that didn't come, and as a result, every single member of DarkZero was just running through that double door, hoping to finally be the one to win that gunfight, and successfully did so as well. Rise, however, did not expect a third member onto the main stairs, quite logically so, you would dare to say, so Canadian managed to pick him up, and that also made sure that there was no opportunity to go for that pinch that Vitality so love.
Right, so things start out well in the defense for DarkZero here. They find a last-second comeback into the round to give it to themselves, playing it back for quite a bit inside of that round as well. Not necessarily trying to contest the initial plays from Vitality, more so when they're deeper into the building is when they want to actually try and take those challenges and hopefully fight them without a chance for an exchange to come in from another member of that team, should DarkZero's members succeed.
Going to the next first floor site. It's basically a repeat of what Vitality did, just...
It's a cheeky electric claw.
It's a cheeky electric claw indeed. It just really depends on whether or not one of the Vitality members will be going down from the bottom floor or not. Because if they do, then there's the opportunity they catch it quite often. P4 would be someone to just drop through the actual sewers and just go through that, go to the main stairs, might spot it out as a result, or will be able to rotate back to it. But of course, we might also see one of the DarkZero members roaming down below. We've just seen Canadian use the scanner down there, so he might just be able to play down there and put some pressure onto the side of Vitality. Either way, there's going to be 5 more opportunities for Vitality to close this one out. That is the biggest amount of pressure that is currently upon DarkZero.
Yeah, Vitality as well, probably feeling cool, calm, and collected right now, considering that thought. Guys, all right, yeah, we messed things up there at the end of that one. No big deal just yet, though. We still have 5 more opportunities to get this done. And with the one-sided nature of how quite a few of the first half rounds were going, I think Vitality is feeling pretty safe in their assumption that they can take 1 out of the remaining 5. Slow start, though, to this round, as once again, Vitality is going to take quite a bit of time here. Both Shinka and Bibu continuing to drone things out, as P4, we were talking about before, continues to slowly encroach on more and more territory on the second floor specifically.
Really like how they did that. They spotted out rotation. They're like, okay, someone could be out here, and they both checked through one side of it. All right, he's not here. He went downstairs, and Hyper just got spotted as well, so they're very well aware of the fact that the player is going back to the site itself. Now making his way up to the top floor as well, just as a bit of extra cover to go for the main stairs, whilst Rise is using the skeleton key to open up the ceiling to start putting down some pressure onto the direct side, whereas Bibu, of course, if he would be to fall, could go in with the sledgehammer right after. He, for now, though, is descending the main stairs, just waiting for someone to potentially rotate back from the elevator, for example. As the rest of Vitality is getting themselves into the right positions to go for an execute in about 40 seconds from now.
So Vitality continuing to take their time here. The sweep and clear has gone off without a hitch for the most part. There's still a few members of DarkZero we dealt with. The entire breadth of the team still alive and well here as DarkZero realizes they cannot really directly contest against Vitality here. It's not been the winning formula in any sense, both on their attacks and on the defense. They're continuing to hold back. They're continuing to play into these passive positions. It's going to be hard to do here as you're going to start to see Rise is opening up quite a bit of the real estate on the top-down area here. So specifically inside of Archives and soon inside of Tellers too. It's going to be very, very tough to continue to maintain positions on the inside of the site. Same can be said for Basement, but DarkZero is succeeding in fending off some of the members of Vitality here. Rise going to get caught first. Bibu attempting to exchange and just barely catches Canadian's head at the end of the spray pattern there to make sure it goes off. That's going to bring us down to a 4v4, but it doesn't stay that way as P4 succeeds in pushing bottom square and finding Panda.
No one is inside the elevator, though. Bibu's going to be opening that one up, but it's going to be the other one. So we need to clear that out. Eclipse is still sitting in here. Hyper will drop. He's in a very key position here. He has the opportunity to stop a plant from happening, but he will be caught by the crossfire. It's only NJR left. He is the remaining hope of DarkZero to stop them from losing this game, and he's coming right around the corner. Has the opportunity to take down the plants. Will successfully do so. Goes back into the Archives. Gets a second as well. Spots the third, but Cactus is too quick. Manages to get that final kill, and it's a 7-1 here for Vitality to close out their first game of the Major with a very convincing win.
NJR tries to be the hero of this defensive half for DarkZero, but it's just too much to ask for 2 rounds in a row after he picks up at least a triple on the first round.